a lot of things that I think will be really funny if Team Canada sucks at Four Nations. I'm not saying I'm cheering for them to lose because I am Canadian and I want them to win. I'm very excited to watch them play. All I'm saying is that we might have a lot of content for Trick Play if they lose. That's sue me. But regardless, I'm sure Caleb, you heard Uyghur's comments about when Petrangelo got hurt, and Team Canada was obviously looking for another defenseman. He said something along the lines of, "I've got a really really nice vacation to Mexico, and I'm hovering over the cancel button. If they call me, I'll be there." That's basically what he said. I just thought it was awesome that with everything kind of starting, we're recording this on it's Tuesday. I don't know what day it is. It's Tuesday, February 11th. It was kind of like the practice day, and it was like the photo day and all of that. And Uyghur posted this on his Instagram story, just showing where he is during this entire thing. And I thought that was great because I think, especially again, if Canada loses, this entire thing is going to be really funny because the fact that they chose a Drew Doughty, who's coming off of only a few games played, coming off a major injury, over a lot of guys, not only Uyghur. I'm defending Uyghur. I bring up Uyghur a lot because I'm a Flames fan, but there were a lot of players I would have picked over Doughty. I would have taken Chris Tanev over Doughty. Like, I think there was a lot of more deserving players that should have gone, but Drew Doughty got it because boys club. But yeah, regardless.
Yeah. And you almost think, like, I read an article about kind of like the lost Olympians of this era where there hasn't been any international competition for NHLers for so long. And I'm pretty sure Drew Doughty was in Sochi.
Yep.
But you almost wonder if it's like this guy should have been a Team Canada legend for those prime years of his career. Like, he should have gone to 2018 and he should have balled out there. And you almost wonder if that's kind of the reason why. Because there was a really good article talking about that and talking about how, like, Steven Stamkos has never played for Team Canada in the Olympics because he was hurt when they went in Sochi. Then 2018 happened, and then 2022 with COVID. So he's never played. And the likelihood that he'll get in 2026 is dubious. So I wonder if it's, it's almost like it's one of those kind of things where it's like, is that the reason why they put in Doughty? Because they're like, you gotta like throw him a bone because he should have had more Olympics.
Okay,
Who knows?
I get that, but like, he had two, like he has two gold medals already. Like, I get where you're coming from, but like, he already has two gold medals, and you could say the same if you're trying to throw a bone to a veteran. Chris Tanev's a guy who's getting up there in age.
Yeah,
he would have been nice to see him play in this type of tournament. I don't know. I'm trying to remember who the other name was on there that I kept seeing brought up for Canada. I'm blanking right now. Oh shit. Oh, it's gonna come back to me later, and it's gonna piss me off too, because there was another guy who was arguably above Uyghur, like on the rankings, and definitely above Doughty, like there was another guy who absolutely got robbed of an opportunity, but I'm just not coming to me right now. But
yeah,
regardless,
no, that's why I bring up that other argument, because otherwise it's kind of nonsensical. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. That's just the truth of it. I think that. I think it's just unfortunate for a lot of players who are missing out on an opportunity for the boys club, because that is kind of what it is at the end of the day. There's no real other argument. Like, I'm just happy he didn't steal the 8 from Makar, because that would be insane. Like, I think if they called him in one day into his trip to Mexico, comes in and just goes, "Hey bud, you're wearing 89." Like, steals Makar's 8, steals his A as well, like, just steals his spot on the power play. Like, there's so many, it could have been worse, I guess, is the argument I am trying to make, because truthfully it wouldn't have been that surprising if he swept in like the hero that Drew Doughty is and took the A off of him. Like, it could have happened. Like, and truthfully, I don't think it would have surprised that many people, but obviously, I think there's a lot more branding issues that would have been there if they chose to take an A off someone this late. But who knows? I think that I just think the whole thing's really stupid. I think that Canada is going to regret a lot of its roster decisions if things go the way that things are predicted to go. So
yeah, maybe we'll be talking about that in a week. Who knows?
Probably will be, but
maybe
we'll
that, yeah.
And
we'll see how the game goes tomorrow. As of recording this, you watching this might have some insight into that.
True. True. I mean, I will say, as pessimistic as I have been, yes, this will be out before this podcast episode. In the win column, I work for the win column. In case people watching the podcast don't know that, that's a Calgary Flames news column paper. I don't know what they're called these days. It's the modern age, but they did like a round table. Everybody gave their predictions. I predicted Canada to win. We'll see what happens. Wow. As pessimistic as I've been, I still bit of a homer pick. But I still think that the offense might be able to pull them through it and maybe hide a few weaknesses. I think that, although I will say, I think if Canada wins this, I think it will not be good for what happens in the Olympics in 2026. Because I think what Canada needs more than anybody else is a big old kick in the ass. But because I do think that if they get absolutely whooped by the U.S., which is definitely the most likely thing, I think they'll go into 2026 and that Olympics a lot more seriously and give us a much better performance. But who knows?
That's what happened. That's what happened in that, like when the NHL first came to the Olympics, right? In 1998, the Canadians came in all, like we're the best in the world at this, and then they got their ass handed to them a little bit, and they came out in 2002 with a little bit more of a fire and a little bit more of a like we actually have to earn this. So I think you're right, because in the grand scheme of things, that 2026 gold will be more important than this, and you almost think.
In the grand scheme of things, it just is. There's so many people. You know what the biggest conversation is that I've heard from a lot of people around the NHL in the last little bit is whether or not people are actually taking this seriously, and whether people actually give a shit about this tournament at all, or if it's just going to be another all-star replacement, basically. Because that's what it is. At the end of the day, if you want to talk about what is actually happening here, it's a lazy attempt to put a World Cup in the All-Star break. That's kind of what it is. Like, because there's only 4 teams. There's about 1,000 reasons that the players don't need to try. Like, they're just trying to do something else so that we don't have to watch a bunch of players not try for two days.
I will say, I do think the players care, and I do think they will try.
I hope so.
I think this will be a comparable level to like international hockey that we've seen before, because of how long the break has been, mostly. Yeah. Because I think so many of these players haven't had the chance since the World Juniors, for a lot of them, to play for Canada at this high of a level.
Okay,
or the fair. US or Sweden. Like I think that's where the motivation comes from.
To be honest with you, like I've kind of said it. Like it's the same thing that I just said like a little bit ago. I almost hope Canada loses just to get a kick in the ass, because I think we really need it right now. Because I don't think you realize how good the US are, and how good and how much better they're going to be.
They should be favored to win.
They are by far the favorite. I still think, though, just the fact that even I am able to look at it and go, like, I pick Canada, I think that alone should be enough to hopefully... Because the Canadians in the dressing room, they grew up kicking everyone's ass in international competition. That's just how it's been. Canada is the top of the world in hockey, baby, and it's going to stay that way. It's not the case right now. The U.S. are the best. That is just true. You look at them on paper. This has almost turned into a little like Four Nations like predictions thing, but like preview. It almost worked out that way. But like the U.S. are absolutely the top of the world, and right now in this tournament, Canada is the only team that can stop them. I just hope they're taking it seriously, because I swear to God, if McDavid doesn't show up, if McKinnon doesn't show up, if Crosby doesn't show up, we're cooked. If that offense ain't scoring 4 goals a game, we're going to fucking lose it. It's simple as that. Like, the only thing that they have going for them in this tournament. I mean, we're not going to get another podcast out before the tournament starts. Hell, this might not even get out before the tournament starts. But, like, fuck. If that offense ain't rolling, we are so cooked. Like, it's as simple as that. Jordan Binnington is the goalie, for fuck's sake. He's got an 895 goals against or save percentage. We're so cooked. We're so cooked. Anyway, there's my rant. There's 1,000 reasons Canada shouldn't win this tournament, but it's pretty damn hard to bet against McKinnon, Crosby, and McDavid on a power play. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how it goes tomorrow against Sweden. Obviously, that's not the name brand game, but that'll still be a tough test for them.
That's probably just as big of a game, in my opinion. I think that's going to be the biggest kind of showing for what we should expect out of Canada. Because in my opinion, if you look at Sweden and you look at Canada, there's a lot of reasons that I think that the gold medal or the championship game for this tournament is going to be the U.S. and Sweden. I don't know if that's that crazy of a take. Sweden's good. They have better goaltending. Their defense is arguably just as good. The only place that they just don't quite hold a candle is that offense. And, I mean, defense wins championships. I trust Ullmark a whole hell of a lot more than I trust Binnington. So I think it's going to be really interesting. I think... I don't know. I think no matter what way this goes, that 2026 Olympics, I cannot wait for. Because I really do think that this is a precursor, and it's going to light a lot of storylines. Either Canada's going to win, and suddenly, just like that, it's the U.S. with a candle under their ass. And we might see just... I don't even know what we'd see in that 2026 Olympics out of them. But Canada is going to have to really show us something here if they want to win, in my opinion. I think I think it's going to be... I could talk about this forever. I think it's so fucking fun. I might be the one person on the planet who's excited for this tournament, but fuck, it's gonna be so cool.
I don't know. I think it's like drumming up a lot of excitement. Like even speaking personally, I really haven't been following hockey all that much, and I mean this year, partially it's because what I normally do is I watch football to death, and then then I get more into my hockey watching phase. But I also feel more motivated to watch this than I have about like any Flames game, just because I think it's so much more unique. I mean, like the Flames will play every other day, but I haven't watched Canada's best players play international hockey. I didn't watch the World Cup when it happened, so the last time I watched the world's best players on Canada on an international stage was when I was 10 years old, and my dad woke me up at like 4 a.m. or whatever it was to watch Canada versus Sweden.
The only difference is I think I woke up my dad. I think it was the other way around. Because trust me, little 10-year-old Simon was ready to rock and roll for that gold medal game.
Yep.
I was so hyped to watch that. But I as someone who did watch the 2016 World Cup, it just didn't... in my opinion, like, I don't know if other people feel the same, but I can say that I am a lot more hyped up for this than I was for the 2016 World Cup. Just because of the fact that... It felt
a little bit gimmicky.
Yes. And while I will say that I think this is just as gimmicky, like, I think it is the same level of gimmicky, I do think that the amount of time we've had to wait for it kind of helps. I think you're allowed to be gimmicky when this has been...
When it's been like 10 years, yeah.
Like, holy fuck, it actually kind of has been 10 years, huh? God.
I know, we're old.
Yeah, apparently. Apparently, huh?
Yeah.
Well.
Back in my day,
when they had the Team North America. Oh, that Team North America team would be so nuts now if they made that. Like, the same players all on the same team. That'd be the stupidest team ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had that thought not that long ago. Like, they had so many guys. But yeah, regardless, we've been talking for 30 minutes, and this was supposed to be an outro.
Oh, holy shit. Well,